How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at I'm Just Effing With You. This is Season 1, Episode 7 of Into the Dark. Into the Dark was Blumhouse TV and Hulu's attempt to put out a new movie every single month, and they made about 24 of these. Now, technically, this movie came out in late March of 2019, but this is the entry for April 2019. You see, this is an April Fool's Day movie, so with the holiday falling on the first of the month, you gotta get it out a little bit early, so yeah, for April, but technically in March. And granted, that whole thing where they missed a few months and then they came out later, I think this means that March actually had 4 entries of Into the Dark, which I think makes it the most popular month of Into the Dark. Not sure, I'd have to look at the numbers. But anyway, yeah, an April Fool's Day movie. If you guys are watching this around the time it comes out, it should be either on April Fool's Day or really close to it. So keep a mind out for those pranksters, you know. Anyway, this is directed by Adam Mason, and this movie stars Keir O'Donnell, MacArthur, and Jessica McNamee. And this is about a guy who is going to his ex-girlfriend's wedding and staying at a motel where the clerk will continue to do a series of progressively larger pranks, always ending with the dismissive titular phrase, "I'm just effing with you." But where do the pranks cross the line and where do we turn into horror? That sort of thing. And overall, this episode isn't bad. And a lot of people consider this to be one of the better entries in the franchise. And granted, some of the other entries in here, I can totally see saying that. But to be honest, this one didn't 100% click with me. And I think I realized April Fool's Day is probably one of my least favorite holidays. And don't get me wrong, a creative, well-executed prank could be really good and funny and memorable. Yeah, a good, creative prank. The problem is, most people aren't creative, and a lot of the April Fool's Day pranks that we get are just people being jerks and then going, ha ha, April Fools, right? And I don't know. I always felt that real life is hard enough. We shouldn't mess with each other if we don't have to, right? But what do I know? Anyway, you get this poor guy, he's at a clearly stressful point in his life, and we get this guy just constantly hounding him. And yeah, over and over and over again. And yeah, I just, okay, the characters acted well. It's not the actor, he does the character right. I just don't like the character, and yes, sometimes he's funny, and when he does transition into being more directly a horror antagonist, other than just a guy who's messing with you when it's actually horror, it becomes good then. But this is his movie. This movie is about this prankster character, and if you're with him, then you'll be into this movie. But if you're not, that's the problem, you know? And how on board are you? But I will say there are some pros with this. It's very well shot. They do lots of gels. The hotel has a neon theme. It looks really cool. And the movie definitely isn't boring. And a lot of Into the Dark, there's been some really boring ones. So, not being boring, that's a huge plus. And I can definitely say this movie is okay, it's just something I didn't really vibe with, you know? And yeah, not my favorite. I guess without further ado, let's talk a little bit about the plot. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points, analyze it a little bit, try to figure out where it didn't quite work for me. So, no major spoilers, but let's go ahead and jump into the plot. We open up with this guy. He's driving his car down the road, and he is twittering while driving, and he has a anonymous social media account in which he's leaving negative trolling comments. Really shouldn't be doing this for like 3 reasons. 1, don't be a jerk on the internet. That's not nice. 2, don't be on Twitter. That is not a good place. But the third one, and the biggest one that I'm a little shocked the movie doesn't address, don't use your phone when you drive. He's out there leaving super intricate Twitter messages that you could tell he had to look and, like get the right emojis and everything. And this is definitely distracting. And okay, maybe I'm coming across as like a curmudgeony old man or something, but still, he's endangering the lives of the people around him as well as himself. Don't Twitter and drive. Pull over somewhere. I don't know. I'm old, I guess. But anyway, opening montage, text flying across the screen, and maybe the Hollywood hasn't quite figured out text messages yet, especially with how fast they go. But it's kind of got the music and the quick editing, and it's like ha ha ha, boom boom, text text text, and there's no way I can read all that, which also sucks because there's bits of exposition in there, plot points for the story, and yeah, no, I did not catch hardly any of that just because ha ha, quick montage of funny internet people trolling each other. But anyway, you eventually figure out the setup for this movie. This guy was in love with a girl, the love of his life, and she dumped him and went on to marry his cousin. And now he's going to the wedding. Which, yeah, no, dude, don't... I know it's your cousin's wedding, so it's kind of a family event. Don't go to your ex's wedding. It's not going to help her special day if you're just there crying in the corner. Take whatever heat you have to for not going, but don't go to your ex's wedding. But he's going to, and we find out that he's meeting his sister at the local motel. So he's going to be expecting her. He goes into the hotel lobby. There's no one there. But there's this weird kind of adjoining kitchen area that leads into a connected diner. So yeah, kind of a weird setup. But he finds the clerk is also managing the diner. There's one guy at the bar, and he's a tough-looking biker guy. And the two start to josh with this guy, start to mess with him, right? And they do that whole, hey, XYZ, like that's one of the bartender's first jokes. Examine your zipper. And then, of course, he looks down, and it's not open. His fly is closed. It's a hilarious prank. You got him there. And, man, XYZ is one of my least favorite ones. Is so few people use it that on the rarity when I do actually hear it, I'm like, why did that guy say the last 3 letters of the alphabet? But also, examine starts with an E. I mean, I know it's slang, but no, this is elementary school spelling. EYZ, which would have more of its own meaning, but doesn't sound as catchy. It's a joke that has never worked, never does work. I hate this one, and that's where we're opening up. But he does a thing later on where, he pays for the hotel room in cash, and the guy goes, hey, go ahead, give me your card. What cash? You didn't give me cash. And then, of course, devolving back to the titular line, I'm just effing with you. Which that second one is way too serious of a thing. and he just does it for fun. It's so annoying, and I get some people may vibe with this character. Ha, he totally got him. He's just being a random jerk for no freaking reason. Whatever. After this, we find out a little bit about his character when he goes to the hotel room and he starts cleaning it. He is a germaphobe. He wants everything clean. And we get a montage. And this montage is kind of shocking that it doesn't have more of a payout. Like, you'd think there'd be several jokes and that it'd end on a big gag, but it's just kind of him cleaning up the hotel room. He pulls out a black light. That's the setup, and it should have the payoff for him finding a large splotch of ooze, right? No, he just shines it around. You think in this sequence he would find like cockroaches or human hair, but it's just kind of a montage of him cleaning, and this movie is admittedly supposed to be more comedic, but there's not too many payoffs at the end of this montage. It's just kind of him cleaning. It's this weird missed opportunity. Of course, the pranks continue, go a little bit too far. He's thinking about leaving, but the sister, and this is another weird plot structure point. His sister's not responding to his text. He hears a story on the news about a woman dying on the road in a car accident. He thinks his sister might be dead, but then also the way that the clerk is acting, he thinks maybe she did check in, but the clerk, like, kidnapped her or something. It's this weird thing, and it's like, okay, is this the plot of the movie? Is he looking for his kidnapped sister? Is that why he's staying? But minor spoiler, at the end of the first act, the sister just shows up. Why was there this whole big hoopla at the start of the movie? Is she just gonna walk in there? It's not a twist, it just feels like bad plot structure. And I asked myself, what the heck was this opening even about? And then I realized, oh, it's to get more minutes in the movie. It's so something can happen, because we're a little bit aimless. And I'm like, whatever. But when the sister does show up, she adds a bit of balance, you know, because you had him picking on the guy that checked in, and now there's going to be a third party that's kind of the sane one, and also he'll tone down his pranks with a witness there. So the sister does add a little bit to it in regards to just the pranks, but eventually it will go bigger and it will become a scary movie, and that's when the movie gets a lot better, when he becomes a legitimate threat, and it's not just some guy messing with you, it is a legitimate horror. Now, that being said, why he is significantly better when we finally do get to the horror section, it still is no reason. Like, there's no reason why this guy is messing with him. He has no real end goal other than, hey, wouldn't it be funny? Which, to be fair, a lot of horror movies, it's no reason, so I shouldn't complain too much. It's just something where I already wasn't liking the movie, and in turn it stood out like a sore thumb. But yeah, I shouldn't complain too much. Another thing with the structure, and I won't talk too much about the end, but there's a few points at the end when it feels like the movie should be over, and you look at the time and you're like, oh, there's like 20 to 30 minutes left in this movie. How are we still going? And you know that means there's going to be some stupid decisions and plot contrivances, and really though the biggest thing was when I realized, hey, this should be over soon, oh no, we have about 20 minutes, I was frustrated, and the sign of a good movie is if I see there's 20 more minutes, I should be like, yeah, more movie, but I don't know. Like I said though, I can see why some people consider this to be one of the better episodes. If you vibe with it, you vibe with it, and I just didn't, you know, which made me be more cynical about the whole movie when maybe it didn't deserve it. And the concept there is solid, you know. It's April Fool's Day. when does joking go too far? And that's a good concept, and the guy's annoying, and you think, okay, but they're being critical of him, but they're not really being super critical. They seem to just be having fun with him, so it doesn't really seem like a critique of people that use bad jokes properly. You know, it just seems like they're just having fun with it, and I just don't like it. The idea that it's like a real-life prankster jerk versus an internet troll, okay, that's kind of an interesting concept. And like I said, the movie shot really well, and it becomes significantly more interesting when there's an actual horror element and it's not just this guy messing with this other guy. Yeah, it works okay, it's just not something I enjoyed, but I can see some people really liking it, so I won't complain too much. It's kind of annoying to me. But then again, April Fool's Day kind of is. So anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll be leaving a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Into the Dark playlist, where you can see my reviews for other entries in the series. I'm covering them via the months they come out. So being April, and they started in October, I'm covering the episode 7s now, plus that whole delay thing. This means I'm past the halfway point. Anyway, looking forward to Puka Lives. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Into the Dark playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.